Hello and welcome. My name is Andrea Lendy, and I sincerely want to welcome each and every one of you to my author page. I appreciate you. I appreciate that you liked the page, followed it, and I just am so very grateful that you did. So thank you for that, first of all. We just started this page a week and a half ago, and we have almost 200 folks following now. And again, very much appreciate that you are one of them, all of you. So thank you for that. In terms of my author page, kind of no one is more surprised than I am to say that I'm an author. And then to say there's 5 books, again, no one is more surprised. But I've spent the last, 10, 12 years or so really studying the word. And so I'm going to spend the rest of my life sharing that with other people. I wanted to tell you a little bit about the books that I've written, because I don't think that some of you even know how the topics I've written on and all the books that have come. So just started publishing last November. And again, no one is more surprised than I am that I have 5 books already, working on a couple of more projects, and tell you about those here in just a minute as well. First book that I definitely wanted to publish was about my health story, my health journey from sickness to health. I was diagnosed with lupus when I was 30 years old, and it took 3 years to get well, but I was bound and determined to find a way to be healthy. I couldn't imagine as a young 30-year-old spending the rest of my life sick and making my world all about me, right? That's kind of what we do when we're sick. We're like, poor me. And it is poor me. When we're not feeling well, nothing is good. So I spent those years doing some kind of crazy stuff to get well, and wanted to share that journey with other people who suffer from autoimmune. Autoimmune is rampant these days for a number of reasons. And welcome whoever joined us. And so I wanted to address the possibility, or open up the possibility, that there is wellness even inside of a chronic illness. So my book, Life After Lupus, What's Your Autoimmune Name, is the first book that I wrote way back when, and just published it again last November. So I'm thrilled with that. And you can get that on barnesandnoble.com or amazon.com. I utilized Christian Faith Publishers to publish that book. So I actually had 2 health journeys that I wrote about there, because fast forward 20 years and I got sick again. But the next time it was just a 3-week fix, if you will. It only took me 3 weeks to get well. And so definitely wanted to share that piece of the journey with people who are suffering or have loved ones that are suffering, so that the possibility of healing could be opened up for people. Truly, our bodies want to heal. We just have to do the right things in order for that to happen. So I've seen things reverse, and that's beautiful in my life, and I've seen it with other people as well. Kind of a common thread is diet and then chemicals around us. And when we change those things, and our bodies can kind of go back to neutral. So that's my first book that I published. And for the last number of years now, I've been writing daily devotions and prayers. So my next book was a 90-day devotional called God is Still Almighty, and I went back. I know this COVID has been so difficult for people, for all of us, truly, and some more than others, because some have lost family members, and so deeply sorry about that. I did go back to a year ago, March, when all of a sudden the lockdown happened in our world, and started there with the devotions through July, and picked out the best 90 that I thought were comforting, were uplifting, inspiring, to try and help us through this difficult time. So that's my second book. It's a daily devotion and prayer book. And then the next one was a prayer book, because some people don't like the whole devotion, or it's just a little bit longer read. And I have to tell you, my devotions are short. They're between 500 and 600 words. It should only take about 3 to 5 minutes to read those. But I know even those chunks are sometimes too much. So I wanted to also offer just a prayer a day, a daily prayer. Both of these are available on my website as well at believinghim.com. And oh, so now we have sirens outside and the dogs howling like wolves or coyotes. So that's fun. You know, there's just not a good time of day. Honestly, I've tried all day long and one thing or another has come up in my day. So enjoy the howling if you can hear that. Again, Coffee and a Prayer is another book that is just a daily prayer. But you can get both of those again on my website and or even on my personal profile. I post a coffee and a prayer just to start the day. Maybe it's lunchtime or before going to sleep at night. They're both very comforting, if you will. And I continue to write those every single day. So we'll be publishing more of those. Then last Christmas, kind of a fun little project that I did. I told our kids that we should just have a homemade Christmas this last Christmas. Didn't want anybody spending money that they didn't have and going to the stores and doing that hustle and bustle for, you know, not a lot of value in return. So I said, let's just do a homemade Christmas, which was beautiful. 2 of the kids got together and wrote a song. Another one knitted me a hat, actually, so because I go to the dog park every day, and so that was really nice to have. And then what I did is I compiled a list, or I compiled all the poems and prayers that I've written my kids over the years and put those in a book. And so I called that A Mother's Love. And so that's what that book is about. It's a compilation of poems and prayers that I've written, and then I gave that to our children. But any mom would love this book because it's a lot of the poems that I wrote were at the end of their time with me before they would leave for college. So they're very heartfelt, as well as some beautiful prayers there too for our kiddos. So that wanted to leave a legacy to my kids so they didn't have to go through my scraps at the end of my life and pull all those pieces together and then wonder, which one did mom write to me? So have those in a book for them. And this last book I wrote was a book of the songs that I've written over the years. I've written over 100 songs, and the lyrics to those songs are so powerful. I wrote a lot of them when God was transforming my heart. He was softening my heart. And that one is called God's Whispers and Melodies. And love that because there's I don't know if you can see, there's a grand piano, which is a nice shiny black one, which is my very, very favorite. So the cover came out beautifully. And with each one of those lyrics, there was a story that went along with how that was, how that particular song came into being. And I'll share one of those stories with you. And I'll share a Mother's Day one with you since we just had Mother's Day. But I met a woman who loved her kids as much as I loved mine. Our kids did karate together. And she was kind of distraught over one of her kids. And we had met at a Sunday Meet the Pastors lunch. And she was very passionate about what was happening to one of her kiddos and felt like she was losing him. And I just couldn't get that out of my mind for the next week. And we met on Friday night at karate. And I brought a book to her and showed her that this one woman who'd had a very detailed experience, after death experience, if you will, went to heaven, was sent back. She saw a lot of things in heaven. And one of the things that she saw were strong beams of light coming from earth to heaven. And they'd rolled back kind of the heavens so that she could see. And she said, what are those beams of light? And they were all different intensities. And the strongest ones were the prayers of mothers. We bleed for our kids and we pray earnestly for them. So I wrote that song called A Mother's Prayer. And that is, I should read just a second of that because that really is pretty. I didn't intend to, so I don't have it right on the tip of my fingers here. But if I can find it relatively quickly, I'll read that to you. Isn't that crazy? Oh, That's why, because I titled it something a little bit different. Page 58 in this. And it goes, a mother's prayer is carried on angel's wings. She sends her heart with every prayer to the heavenly King. From her heart to his, from her arms to him. A mother's prayer is sent to God on angel's wings. For endless hours and sleepless nights, she holds her babe, bringing comfort and peace to her precious gift. She sees herself in her child and the beauty life brings. A mother's prayer is sent to God on angel's wings. As they grow up, she sees the trials they'll face. She's on her knees again, an old familiar place. From her heart to his, from her arms to him, a mother's prayer is sent to God on angel's wings. Time to send that child out into the world. She'll miss the face, the smile, and the many kind words. She'll find her knees again, just like a faithful friend. A mother's prayer is sent to God on angel's wings. From her heart to his, from her arms to him, a mother's prayer is sent to God on angel's wings. And the tune of that song is kind of like a lullaby. It's just, it really is beautiful. And I can say that because what happened was, one day I was sitting at the piano just sort of messing around, and I just bowed my head and prayed, God, would you ever bless praise and worship music? And that day, like that minute, I started hearing notes in my head, and I went to the piano and found those notes, and then I found the chords, and they were beautiful. So I didn't write any of them. I just wrote them down, which was truly lovely. So those are the books that I have written so far. I'm working on a journal, a prayer journal right now. Writing prayers has changed my life, and working on a version of that so that I can help other people as well. And do you want to know what my favorite book is? I'll show you. It's this one. The Bible is my very favorite book, and I will spend the rest of my life sharing the messages that I find there. Also love sharing my health story, so I'll do that as well. Once a week or so, we'll have a Facebook Live in this group. Again, welcome. Thank you for being here, for following this page. I'll share updates in terms of what projects I'm working on and all of that as well. But I hope to offer a word of inspiration often, and maybe some giggles, laughs, humor that happen in my life as well. So again, welcome and thank you. I am grateful.